some rustling outside my house, so I looked out my window, and there's a man in no uniform with a spray pack on with a big chemical container, and he's spraying all over the curb, you know, in front of my house, all over the neighborhood's curbs, just all over our neighborhood. And so I, you know, yelled out my window. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he kind of looked up and everything, but, you know, so I ran outside, and I asked him, "What are you spraying?" And the very first thing he said was Roundup. And I said, "Satan Roundup. You're actually spraying that stuff." I said, "Where is your, you know, material safety data sheet?" And he said, "I don't have one." And I said, "Well, where can I see your card? Who do you work for?" He refused to tell me who he was working for, who gave him permission to spray the chemicals. So I was already, like, put off by what he was doing. I tried to explain to him that spraying Roundup actually causes bee collapse disorder. It's killing the bees. It's destroying the planet. That I explained to him that the drift from him just spraying on my curb would actually go into my yard, and it would infect the other insects that are good, and he didn't care. I tried to plead with him, you know, to stop spraying it and to give me any information as to who he was, and I couldn't get any of that. So I immediately said, "I'm calling the police." I ran upstairs. I couldn't find my cell phone. I was fumbling around the house. Finally found my cell phone, came outside, and as I came outside with my cell phone, he had jumped into his truck, and he's now racing off. I tried to chase him just to get a picture of his license plate so I could turn it into the police. Could not get a good picture of the license plate. I didn't have enough time. I told the chemical man that I was going to call the police and ran inside, and he escaped before I could get a chance to identify him. I called the police just like anybody would, and the police basically told me that they could send a unit out to me to talk to me, but that it was totally legal for anyone to spray Roundup that they want, that it's sold in grocery stores and everything like that. Okay, my question to the Virginia Beach Police Department is this. How do we know that it's Roundup that this person was spraying? I never was able to identify him. He never showed me a card. And also, the lady on dispatch told me that he doesn't have to show me any identification. So, in Virginia, they are allowing people without uniforms, without identification, and without their safety data sheets, material safety data sheets, to spray whatever chemicals they want in front of residents' homes. And they don't even have to explain this. I went over to the business across the street from my house to try to get some information to see if they had hired this person. They knew nothing about it. The owners weren't even there. They're out of town. The workers were there. They said they knew nothing about it. And I just explained to them that, you know, the chemicals had just been sprayed over their property. Needless to say, this is very heartbreaking. Jim Bill Stallings Jr. came on my show, you know, a few weeks back, and he explained to us that Roundup is an endocrine disruptor. It is poison. And I also want to add that they sprayed, this person sprayed whatever chemical he sprayed right over top of the bus stop. And then I watched the kids go to that bus stop minutes later, and the bus came and picked them up. So now they've stepped all over whatever he just sprayed, and if they touched their shoes and touched their mouth, if they touched the grass
bring
there,
it home.
The police did, and you know, offer me, if I really needed them to, that they could have a police officer come out to my house, but I opted out of that. I don't know if that was the right decision or wrong decision. I don't want to, you know, be a bugaboo to the police on things, issues that may or may not be legal, but without this man giving me his identification, what do you guys think?
See, it's interesting you say that, because where I live, the cops always make everything worse. No matter, I don't call them anymore because they just end up making matters worse every time, or they end up taking the wrong person's side or end up not helping at all.
John, you were a cop. What would you have done in this situation?
Well, I mean, exactly what you did. I mean, what you did was exactly right. The person doing this should have credentials, should have some type of paperwork with him to show who he works for, the fact that he was not wearing a uniform, the fact that when you said that you were going to call the police and he left the scene and, as you said, he sped away in his vehicle very quickly so you couldn't get his license plate number, you know, it's a heads up. I mean, it tells you that more than likely the guy, you know, maybe he does work for a company, but maybe he works for somebody that's like a, you know, a fly-by-night company or something that gets paid to go and do this, you know. I mean, I don't know, but what you did by calling the cops, I think, was perfectly normal. You know, them treating you the way that they did and blowing you off, you know, to just, oh, you know, you shouldn't go chasing cars, you know, like a dog, You know,
Yeah.
they're basically treating you like the idiots that they want us to be. You know, oh, you silly person, what are you doing? You know, that is where they want all of us. They want all of us to have that.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
When I went out to confront him, you know, when I was trying to reason with him and explain to him what he was doing to my personal property, he told me, just get away from me and leave me alone, lady. I'm not even kidding you. I was like, oh, my God. When I was running upstairs, he said, I have other jobs to do. And I said, yeah, you have other places to poison. This just goes to show, guys, always have your camera ready.
Exactly. Right when you need your phone, you never have it. It always works out that way.
I didn't really know if I believed this theory that they were going around spraying with backpacks. I know I saw it on Jim's videos, but I thought maybe that was like a couple of like isolated incidents. To everyone that's listening to my show right now, Jim Bill Stallings Jr., everything that he said on my show like a couple of weeks ago, I verified all of it over the past few weeks. When he said that we've had spying blimps since the 18th century, he's definitely correct. I checked all of that out. You know, that sounded wild to me, but it's true. John, I want to touch on something. I don't even know if I'm allowed to discuss this on air. A friend of yours that you spoke with, can you just quote what he said about how horrible things are?
Well, I was actually talking with a friend of mine the other day who is an ex-Special Forces person, and he left the Special Forces because of military incompetence, the cover-ups that were happening, and because of this, he left. But in doing so, he told me, you know, because we got talking about the way the situation is now, you know, with all the poisons that they're poisoning with us, and I got talking about the chemtrails and, you know, just everything. And the guy said to me, he says, well, he says, what you're doing, he says, is a very proud thing, and you should be proud of yourself. But he says, you know, that's just the tip of the iceberg. He says, I could tell you stuff that would curl your hair. You know, he said they do stuff to people that, you know, and these are our own people, you know, to get them to do things for them. They control them. They get information on them. They hold everything against them, and they use them. They are pawns. And they will do this to anyone and everyone. And everyone is being watched every minute of every day. And this has been happening for like 16 years now, I think he said, that they've been watching people. And he said it's gotten even worse, he said, since 9/11. He said then that was when they really started recording everything. But he said everything that you do is noted. All your phone calls, all your texts, all your banking, all your shopping. If you do credit cards, they know what you're buying because everything is tied together. They know what you want. They know what electronics you buy. Unless you pay cash for any of that stuff, they know exactly what you're doing.
Right, and who uses cash, really?
Well, not many people anymore. I'll tell you one person that does. I do. The only thing I pay with my checks, I don't do any online banking. The only thing I pay with checks, I pay 2 checks a month, and one is to my light bill, and one is for my internet service.
I only use cash as well.
Other than that, when my money comes in the first of the month, I take it out of the bank because I do not trust anyone else with it because of the way things are going and because of my beliefs. I believe that they could just all of a sudden I could go to my bank account and it would be closed or whatever. You know, the money could just all be gone and I'd see a zero balance sitting there and I wouldn't be able to know why.
You're saying that he said chemtrails are just the tip of the iceberg. That's scary.
Yep.
You damn.
And stuff already curls my hair as it is. And so the stuff I don't know terrifies me.
Big Pharma is trying to kill you right now, aren't they? Aren't they
Yes.
prescribing you some dangerous stuff?
Absolutely. It seems like they've been trying to kill me for years. And I had these seizures, like I mentioned to you earlier, and they put me on these anti-seizure pills, and I was taking these, and they started making me dizzy, and that's what happened before I had the seizure. I got really dizzy, and the next thing I know, there was ambulances there. So I stopped taking these because these things are supposed to be anti-seizure pills, yet they feel like they're going to make me go into a seizure, and I've been forgetting stuff. I've just been sick. I've been getting infections like nonstop. I've just been battling. My health is deteriorating.
One of your pills isn't Neurontin, is it?
No, but I believe that was what gave me my first seizure.
How old are you again? I'm sorry.
Just turned 23 this last July.
Really young to be having. How long have you been having these seizures?
Oh, this just started, and I thought it was because of what he mentioned with the Neurontin the first time, which I think it was, but then I had 3 more, and I wasn't even taking drugs or like anything. But then I also read up that once you have a seizure, like every time you have a seizure, it doubles your risk for another seizure or something. So.
Yes.
Okay, wow. Now, John, you said you took that medicine before?
Yeah, in 1995 and 1996, I got really sick. I thought I had just the flu, and I ended up actually losing or getting done my job, and I was out of work for 2.5 years and lost all this weight. But during that time, they were trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and they put me on this a couple of different drugs, and then they said, well, let's try Neurontin. Well, Neurontin, I was home laying in bed, and I thought I was fucking dying. I was, like, shaking uncontrollably. Now, I didn't, like, go into seizure, but I was, like, I literally thought I was dying, and my girlfriend at the time, I told her, I said, we call the hospital now, you know.
Very
blah, blah,
similar
blah, blah, blah.
to mine, but the funny part is supposedly Neurontin is supposed to be anti-seizure as well, yet it gave me a seizure.
I want to bring up the point that as well as, you know, I'm on Lyrica now, and because of that, Lyrica is a drug that causes you to have suicidal thoughts. Well, they wanted to put me on Cymbalta, which is an antidepressant, to curb the suicidal thoughts. One of the side effects of Cymbalta is to cause suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, they tried me on all those antidepressants, and they just made me want to kill myself. Like, those will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress that enough to everybody listening, that the antidepressants, they literally kill you slowly. Like, and when I was on them, I still felt depressed. I just couldn't express it. That was the only difference. I just felt like a shell.
I wanted to know if you knew this, and do you know what the main ingredient in Roundup is?
What is it, arsenic?
No, it's glyphosate. They're introducing it to us so many freaking different ways that we can't get away from it. They're introducing it to us in the water. They're introducing it to us in the food, and they're introducing it to us through the pesticides.
Exactly. Okay? That's. I'm wondering if it's too late. I don't want to be that guy who, you know, but it's just for years me and Amanda and probably you have been trying to get everybody to listen. And all these years have gone by, and it's just they've got our balls in a vice now. There's no way we can get rid of it, get away from anything.
I totally understand that. I totally understand your feelings on that.
It just feels like my body's slowly deteriorating from God knows what.
Yeah, did they change your medication now to something that's working for you? When's the last seizure you've had?
It was about a week or two ago. I still have these anti-seizure pills, but I'm very wary about taking them. I'm trying not to take anything.
Brian, what is your diet? What do you eat for food?
My diet's actually fine, and I exercise regularly.
Okay.
I eat well. I don't eat like I used to.
A bunch of cool foods and all that stuff.
Oh, I know. I don't. No, I read the ingredients and everything now.
Can't they lie about the ingredients? Because in America,
probably.
they're not required to label GMOs. So unless it says organic, it's GMO, right? Or some kind of chemical.
What I've been trying to buy is organic, but like even that I don't trust anymore because I feel like they've even gotten into that stuff. And regardless of that, everything that's healthy, they charge like twice as much for. And everybody's so broke that they're forced to eat this fucking garbage.
That's another thing from Jim Bill Stallings Jr. I'm going to quote him throughout this whole thing. Yeah, he specifically said that endocrine disruptors are in the cheap foods because, they're targeting poor people. Basically, the more poor you are, the less, you're going to be able to buy organic food, of course. So you're just going to be overdosed on these endocrine disruptors.
And no less less time you have to live, in my opinion. Just everything, they keep making everything worse. Like, I just got hooked up with an actual doctor. I got approved for Obamacare, and they're just rude as hell to me because I try to tell them, like, what I've tried in the past, what's worked, what doesn't work, what I'm afraid of, why I won't take certain things, and the nurse and the doctor were just rude as hell to me.
I do want to touch a little bit on the hacking that's been going on my account, because I haven't publicly addressed that yet. They're impersonating me on my own page on Madison Star Moon. They're creating multiple Madison Star Moon accounts so they can post as me on my page, saying them as stupid and ridiculous things. They're trying to threaten me, intimidate me, and all this stuff. They're also doing it to you, John. Have you seen that? They've impersonated you on my own page.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how many of mine they've done. Every time I clicked on the ones that said stalker to see where it went to my page, and I'm like, oh, they like me.
What I think they're doing is they're deactivating the account, so then when you do click the link, it'll just automatically bring you to your account. You've got to catch it, like, right when I post them, but usually I have, like, a warning on my page. But they keep fooling my friends. You know, a lot of my friends aren't, you know, they don't go to my page all the time. They don't know what's going on with me. They might, you know, come on once a week or something, and then they'll come on and post, and then these idiots will go on and post underneath them telling them, get the fuck off my page, you troll, saying this to my own friends, and my poor friends, you know, they don't know what's going on. Total psyop. And these people are disgusting. They made a rape video where a robot rapes me. Fedbot, did you see that, John? Anybody?
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so these are all just tactics to disrupt and distract me, distract everybody, have me post about them instead of chemtrails. And I've been really trying to keep up with it, you know, keep blocking them and stuff like that. But this is like a pack of ravenous, you know, trolls. How do you fight off against endless, faceless profiles?
Well, if I can say one thing about that, and just, you know, when you said trolls, let's make one thing perfectly clear. These are not just a bunch of freaking dummies sitting out behind a computer who have nothing better to do than pick their fucking dick.
They're very well calculated.
Okay? They are very well calculated. They work for the U.S. government. They work for the elitists because they are after us for a reason. They are not just out there, got nothing better to do than pick on us, okay? It is a deceptive process that they are in, and they know exactly what they're doing, and we know who they work for.
Paul Rubino is the fictitious name, I believe, of the YouTube channel. Paul Rubino, who's posting, you know, this girl with a bong strapped to her face, and she looks like some S&M gutter trash or something, and they're saying that that's me. They're posting pictures of all different kinds of women and saying that they're me, they're not me. They're taking my face and, you know, photoshopping it on the dumbest images.
You're getting to them.
I don't even want to get to them. I want these cretins, these terrorists, away from me. I have no idea who these people are. But
back to the pharmaceutical thing, when I was talking to my doctor and they started being rude to me, it was after I said that I have a right to be involved in my own treatment, and I asked why it's so hard for me to get on this medicine that I know actually helps me. And they won't prescribe me it, and I asked them how all these drug addicts and drug dealers get prescribed this like nothing, and they don't even have the problem. Yet people who actually need it were denied.
Yeah, well, they want customers, so that would explain why they allow, you know, druggies and drug dealers or whatever to get their product. They want you dead. So that would explain why they are either giving you the wrong medicine or whatever. I no longer believe that chemtrails are, you know, simply for geoengineering or weather modification.
People to depopulation. I firmly believe that.
Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. Wake the hell up, dude. If you don't think that they're trying to kill us, why are they poisoning everything that we touch? Why was that man just outside my house? Why didn't he have to identify
Painfully
himself?
obvious, and that's why it gets me so frustrated at times that people just don't listen.
We got to keep trying. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we give up, like, we're the last hope.
With the chemtrails, all the stuff that is dying, all the trees that are dying, go to the forest, go to the park, go take a look at all the trees dying. It's not just happening beside the roads, whatever. It's happening in the forest. It is from the spraying. There's no other way that they can be contaminating.
And the summers, especially over here in Illinois, have been very hot and very cold the past couple of years. Like, the weather's getting very bad.
I want to add one more thing. I did visit my local Death Towers. They added another one, so there's two of them together. And I went there, and there was actually people working on the towers. And I saw the truck that was outside, some generic company, and then the guy driving the truck was this really young, scrappy-looking, unkept man, a young guy, like maybe he was about 21. And then the workers that were on top of the thing, they were young and unkept looking and everything like that. This goes along with the theory that the whistleblower 9, explained to us, they hire anybody to do these jobs now because they don't have enough skilled workers to do these jobs, so they just hire anybody to do it. Because who's really going to climb up on those antennas and work on them?
And I don't believe that these are cell phone towers anymore. Okay?
Oh, no.
They're not cell phone towers because there's not that many more new cell phone towers that would be needed considering what we've already got. They are going into the listening devices. That's what all these things are. These are more listening devices. And, in fact, the ones on top of the churches are there to gain information. They want to know what all your churches are thinking. They are weaponized. They want to know what your churches are thinking because these people are groups. They want to know what groups are thinking. They want to have an eye on all groups.
I really want to thank you guys for coming on, and, you're always welcome to come on anytime.